To get a quotient with a remainder with a one-digit divisor, that's the number you're dividing by, and a two-digit dividend, that's the number that you are dividing. We're going to divide and give the quotient and remainder. Now for each one of these, I've gone out to the side and I have not multiplied, I've actually added. You take the number you're dividing by and start with that number on the list, and then you add that number each time. So 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15. You go down the list and you always make a list of 9 numbers. Now what you want to do is you want to take this number that's out front and pick the number on the list that's the closest to that without going over. So in this case, in this case it would be 30. So the number out front that's circled is the quotient. And the remainder, you take the number in the box that you were dividing by and subtract out the number that's next to your quotient, and the remainder is 1. So that's how you do that. Okay, so 70 divided by 9. Let's get the quotient first. So you look for the number that's the largest to 70, closest to 70 without going over. So that would be this right here. So the number that's circled is your quotient, and the remainder, you take the number that you were dividing, subtract out the number that's beside your quotient, and that's your remainder. So on this next one, let me move this over a little bit. It's a little bit close. Oh, it won't. There we go. Okay, so you look for the number, and how I got this list is you start with the number that you're dividing by and add that each time. So 9 plus 9 is 18, 18 plus 9 is 27. You go on down the list. So the closest number to 50 without going over is 45. The circled number is your quotient, and the remainder is what you were dividing subtracted by the number that's beside your quotient. So 15 minus 45 is 5. So the remainder is 5. Those two numbers, the quotient and the remainder, will not always be the same, so don't just assume because the last two problems that that's the way it works, because notice in the first one it wasn't like that. It just so happened to be a coincidence in these problems.